I wanted to share with you today Sam's story. Sam was a client of mine and he's on the seventh chakra path. And the story illustrates the mental and emotional patterns that are predictable to show up when we're on this energetic path. And the reason that I wanted to create the videos is to again encourage you to take the quiz so that you can understand what your energetic path and your energetic pattern might be, so that when you confront the challenges, you know that there are remedies alongside traditional medicine remedies that can really support the liberation from the trap of this energetic pattern. So I encourage you to watch the video, then take the quiz, see where you are. And if you recognize someone that you love that is struggling on this path, I encourage you to invite them in to this journey and this process of liberating from that energetic pattern. There is a meditation at the end, so stay till the end of the video. And that meditation is an activation and an initiation into finding the resolution and the solution for this seventh chakra path. I posted it to give you a sample of what it could be like to get started in this journey. Of course, it's not the entire journey or the whole of the solution, but it's an invitation to get started and to explore sort of remedies that could exist alongside our traditional Western medicine remedies. I met Sam when he was 24 and making a really concerted effort to overcome his old addictive patterns. He was drug and alcohol free and cleaning up his eating patterns, eliminating sugar and gluten from his diet. Sam was a graduate philosophy student who had always been interested in truth and the nature of the universe. He had sat with the question of who and what is God for as long as he could remember. He had a natural curiosity about how things worked and seemed to have an interest in pretty much everything. He was willing to raise and confront the question of who he really was and what he was doing here in a way that led him into a search for truth, that led him to study religion and spirituality. He had a very quiet, unassuming nature, a sharp intellect with a pleasing personality, meaning he was gentle and kind and wanted to please others, even sometimes at his own expense. Sam's curiosity about the reality of spiritual experience led him into a bad habit with acid and got him hooked on acid trips, searching for that spiritual experience of oneness. He overdid his journey out into the ether and fried his nervous system. He arrived at my door feeling rather anxious, introverted, depressed, and generally out of touch with himself. Paradoxically, as he reached to find that oneness, he found himself more isolated and alone. This alienation and disconnection from himself and everything led him to lose trust in pretty much everything, and his faith was shaken to its core. He felt lost and had no idea about how he could reconnect with himself and others and rediscover his faith and trust. He was feeling really anxious and was concerned that he may never feel good and back to his normal self ever again. He wasn't sure about his goals and his future anymore. He was still attending his classes, but he wasn't sure how to proceed. He didn't even know what he was going to do with his PhD once he obtained it. This gave Sam a vulnerability that betrayed his authentic courage and love of adventure and his willingness to take risks and jump off cliffs. He disliked his loss of trust and his tendency to make safe rather than exciting choices about his life that led him into an inertia, a boredom of life that really bothered him. He was not used to feeling this way and had no intention of getting used to it. He started telling me that he felt isolated and alone and not feeling any real connection with anything. I'm not as happy as I know I can feel, and I feel like I'm just floating around, not connected to anything or anyone. When I asked him why he thinks that is, he said, I don't think I like myself. No, that's not exactly it. I don't know that I make the best choices. I found myself in lots of trouble, and I know I did it to myself. No one else did it, I did it. How can I possibly trust myself? As we proceeded in the conversation, he shared how hopeless he felt. It was clear to me that his thinking was keeping him trapped in a repetitive experience of suffering. As we proceeded further with our conversation with the subconscious, and his internal dialogue surfaced with great clarity. Not surprisingly, his subconscious communication matched his conscious thoughts of himself. Sometimes this is a clear alignment, and sometimes it is not. This is how the conversation with Sam's subconscious mind went. The thing that isn't working in my life is everything. And the reason everything isn't working is I'm broken down. I'm not connected to myself or anything else. I'm not myself. I feel alone, isolated. I can't trust myself. I make stupid decisions about everything. I don't trust me. I hurt myself. I can't trust me. I feel like I'm just floating. I have no purpose, no direction. I feel like I don't even care. I have no connection or caring. I want to give up on myself. I don't care about anything. I feel like life is against me. Nothing is fair. Everyone is against me. You just can't trust anyone anyway. I don't even trust myself anymore. Interestingly, as so often happens, when Sam brought this inner dialogue up to his conscious awareness, he started to get brighter, feel better, and noted, no wonder I'm feeling so bad about myself. No wonder everything feels really difficult for me. Because as long as I'm believing that on any level, I'm creating my own trap, my own prison of unhappiness. I want out. Help me out of this. I was happy to help. The release from the trap of his internal dialogue started, as always, by raising his awareness, then shifting it to its opposite positive cycle, which translated for him into, it is interesting to note here that when he was talking to me, he was able to do so without as much self-awareness and ability to witness his own inner dialogue as he was when we went straight through the subconscious communication. This is not unusual. We can be blind to what we are thinking and saying. The next step is to state the subconscious in its opposite positive form, and Sam's dialogue translated into this. You now see yourself as perfect, whole, and complete, choosing to establish a very deep, active, fluid connection with yourself that has easy and effortless communication between your higher and lower self. This allows you to stay connected to and trust yourself deeply. You now surrender to trusting your ability to make wise and appropriate choices for yourself, giving you a strong direction that is about developing your spiritual path. You care deeply for yourself and all those around you, choosing to invest in and care about yourself, your life, and your choices. You now choose to trust in the karmic justice that exists in the universe in a way that allows you to know that life is fair and you are free to rest and relax and enjoy life. Sam had experienced his disconnection as a state of all over anxiety, which rebalanced into a state of inner equanimity when he worked with the 7th chakra toolkit. A lot of the work that I do with my clients is focused on helping them create a life by design, which is all about supporting people to understand How to manifest. Manifesting is an automatic descending chakra practice, which, when raised to the level of conscious awareness, empowers us to truly use our magic to the point of consciously creating the life that we want, rather than getting a diluted or disappointing version. In order to be effective creators, it is wise to work with both the masculine and feminine aspects of the chakras. And we hear a lot about the importance of vision boards and activating the power of the sixth chakra by using visualizations of the things that we want to create. Visualization is important, but on its own is missing essential information and not as effective as utilizing all of the chakras for the purpose they were designed. As you rebalance the chakra, you will naturally reclaim your inspirational energy. This is the chakra where inspiration is ignited. All of our dreams, goals, and visions, all of our lives and our future. This is the portal to your connection to divine consciousness and supports your journey towards your enlightenment. You will be naturally familiar with who you are and your spiritual nature and feel supported in the experience of living from this awareness. Let's begin with slow, gentle breaths through the nose and soft, easy exhales out of the mouth. Inhaling and reclaiming your energy from any place where it may have been distracted throughout the day, throughout the week. Inhaling through the crown of the head, descending through the central channel of the body, and arriving in the home of the belly. Placing your hands on either side of the navel. Exhaling and releasing anything that isn't yours, anyone else's energy. You release on the flow of the outward breath. Inhaling and reclaiming, exhaling and releasing. Noticing the breath without changing the breath right now. Noticing how it feels in this body, in this moment. On the next inhale, we're going to expand the belly, open the ribs, open the chest, and pause here for a moment. Then exhale, deflating the chest first, then the ribs, finally the belly, pulling the navel towards the spine. Inhaling, expanding the belly, opening the ribs, the chest, pausing here. Then deflating the chest, the ribs, finally the belly, pulling the navel towards the spine. Continue with this breathing and notice how relaxed you feel in this body, in this moment. Setting an intention to activate the crown of your head, seventh energy center, the chakra of inspiration and ideas. connection to divinity and divine love. And taking a couple of breaths to activate this energy center by inhaling through the nose, pressing the tongue towards the roof of the mouth, inviting the prana and the chi to activate the crown of the head, and then exhaling through the nose. Inhaling through the nose, pressing the tongue to the roof of the mouth, inviting the prana and the chi to come towards the crown of the head. Then release the tongue and exhale through the nose. Inhale through the nose, pressing the tongue to the roof of the mouth, inviting the prana and the chi to come into the crown of the head, activating the 7th chakra. And then exhale, release the tongue, and allow the breath to be exhaled through the nostril. Continuing a couple of cycles of this breath. As we continue with different breathing patterns, the intention is to allow the breath to naturally rise up to the crown of the head and rebound back into the pineal gland, activating both the pituitary and the pineal gland so that you can have a full initiation and activation practice for the 7th chakra. On the next inhale, we're inviting all of our energy to enter through the crown of the head, down through the central channel of the body until it arrives into the pelvic floor, suspending the breath and contracting the muscles on the pelvic floor, doing a Kegel or a Mula Bandha lift, intending the prana and the chi to stimulate down into the coccyx, the very last bone of the tailbone. And then as we exhale, we release the contraction and the breath. Everything rises up, touches into the heart, and goes right into the center of the brain, stimulating into the pineal gland here. Inhaling, inviting the breath to enter through the crown of the head, down through the central channel until it arrives in the area of the navel. Suspending the breath and contracting the muscles around the navel, inviting the navel to come towards the spine, depositing the prana and the chi into the center of the sacrum here. As you exhale, you release the contraction and the breath, and everything rises up, touches into the heart, and ascends into the center of the brain, stimulating into the pineal gland here. On the next inhale, we invite the energy to descend through the central channel until it arrives into the solar plexus, the upper abdomen. We contract the muscles here, lifting the abdomen up and in, depositing the prana and the chi directly behind the solar plexus into the spine. Exhaling, releasing the contraction, inviting the breath and the prana to rise, touching into the heart, coming all the way up into the center of the brain, stimulating into the pineal gland. And then as we inhale, we invite the breath to come down through the central channel until it arrives into the area of the heart, contracting the muscles around the heart, rounding the back, sending the prana and the chi into the spine directly behind the heart. Then as you exhale, you send everything up, the breath, the prana, the chi, all the way up into the center of the brain, stimulating into the pineal gland here. On the next inhale, we invite our energy to enter through the crown of the head, descending into the area of the throat, suspending the breath and inviting the chin to come towards the chest, doing an Ula Bandha lock here. Exhaling, raising the head, releasing the breath, inviting everything to rise and rest in the center of the brain, in the pineal gland. On the next inhale, we invite the breath to enter through the crown of the head, down into this sacred energy center, in the center of the brain, nodding the head forward, bringing the forehead towards the chest, inviting the prana and the chi to deposit in the center of the forehead. And then as you exhale, you raise the head, inviting all of that energy to stimulate into the pineal gland in the center of the brain. Inhaling, inviting the breath through the nose, through the crown of the head, pressing the tongue to the roof of the mouth, sending the prana and the chi up to the center of the 7th chakra. And then as you exhale, you release the tongue from the roof of the mouth and invite everything to rest in the center of the brain, stimulating and activating this sacred energy center. This pineal gland is now primed and ready to do the breathing all together in one cycle of breath. As we inhale, inviting the breath to come through the central channel, coming all the way down into the pelvic floor, suspending the breath, contracting the muscles of the pelvic floor, contracting the muscles around the navel and the abdomen and the chest, rounding the back, bringing the chin towards the chest, nodding the head forward, and then sending the breath to the crown of the head and releasing and bringing everything to rest and settle into the pineal gland, repeating this breathing, inhaling, inviting the breath through the crown of the head down through the central channel, suspending the breath, contracting the muscles of the pelvic floor, the muscles around the navel, the muscles around the solar plexus and the chest, rounding the chest, bringing the chin towards the chest, nodding the forehead towards the chest, and exhaling through the nose, sending the prana up and down into the pineal gland where everything is stimulated here. Inhaling, inviting the breath to come through the crown of the head, descend through the central channel until it arrives at the pelvic floor, contracting the muscles of the pelvic floor, the abdomen, the solar plexus, the chest, rounding the chest, bringing the chin towards the chest, and nodding the forehead down, stimulating into the crown with the tongue, and then raising the head and exhaling and letting everything go, and notice how it feels in this body in this moment. Checking in with yourself to see, do you want to do more of these breathing cycles, doing up to 10 cycles of breath. repeating as needed. Setting an intention for the crown to be opened and activated. Connecting to your own divine light. Marrying and merging this divine light with the divinity of the universe that surrounds you. Inhaling that light through the nose, pressing the tongue to the roof of the mouth, pausing for a moment before you exhale and release the tongue through the nose. Continue with this breathing, connecting to and activating your own divine gifts, sending gratitude and appreciation to all of the things that you get compliments on, your gifts and your talents, and the divinity that lives within you. Feeling and breathing and noticing how it feels in this body, in this moment. Breathing and noticing how it feels in this body, in this moment. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes and bring this feeling back into the room.